Stubborn have a strong alliance with a Agorite theocracy. Then rest has died down on occupied planets. League of Mydek is allied with Xabir hegemony, and even Sigmok are momentarily at peace. Drill Prefend maintain non-aggression pacts, and Finno Mandate ally with Jazivlin planets. The Imperium has also secured an alliance with the theocracy, who maintain a very strong defensive web. The galaxy enters an age of peace. Fanatic Xenophobic Isolationists, the Andigonj, live on their tundra world of Gonj. They explore, exploit, expand, and endure. For a species that wanted nothing to do with the galaxy though sure had different plans. Clone facilities on Kepler Prime are finished. True production begins. These units will reinforce the army on Oslip Prime. On Oslip, Marines are arming themselves, taking incursions into the deep dark. The planet is being combed for remaining hostile elements of a subterranean civilization, ensuring that they are, and indeed remain, destroyed. This will be the first Clone Army's deployment.
New technology.
Starbase modulation has been implemented. As it's still too early to pursue battleship technology, the focus is on strengthening our missile delivery platform, the Corvette. It's a less glamorous piece of equipment, but it's the core of our firepower capability and worth pursuing. With colonization becoming harder and more arduous, healthcare campaign is implemented. It helps to maintain population on fragile worlds. There is also a focus to supply the colonists with energy, as the demand increases. Building a civilization requires a lot of it indeed, and the measures increase the income by 4 times. The Ponel incident remains in our memory. The location of a dreadnought is being tracked at all times. Before we can strike, more information needs to be secured on it. It's near impossible to authorize such a mission from the Serene Protector. The dreadnought fires on sight and surfaces unwilling to risk the science crews. The non-aggression pact is exemplary of the age of peace. We seem to follow each other as everyone wants assurances. Physics lead passes away before his research on planetary shields can be completed. The work will find itself in good hands as Lerhus will take over it. It's been a while since those glory days, but she is said to be brilliant as Borfi was. Our educational campaigns have grown mad and brilliant scientists. The Devourers are at peace right now, pending multiple truces. Of course, that makes us the only other viable target. A small build-up is underway to maintain our capability. All bugs present will be squashed if necessary. A small Navy-wide computer upgrade begins. It will make our fleet smarter. A new point defense design destroyer is introduced into our fleets. It will help to counter enemy missile systems. Should upgrades not prove to be sufficient, production will compensate. Lerhus finishes implementing planetary shields. It will keep ground levels safe even when skies are under full control of the enemy. Planetary shielding changes the way warfare is conducted. This slightly shifts the importance from the Navy to the Army, giving it purpose. Our culture grows from local to galactic scale with the introduction of the hypercoms. A small agricultural revolution is also underway after recent breakthroughs. The Oslipians are keen on installing the first planetary generator to protect them from hazardous weather and storms. The government of Andigonj is more than happy to test this technology on a fringe world. There has been little news from the Qassam raiders. Small skirmishes are continuing, but the capital line has shut down their incursions. We've predicted that the Imperium would eventually turn against the allied Jazilan planets. It's a shock for them, but anyone from the outside could have seen that coming. The Imperium are hostile towards the Finno Mandate. Allied Jazilan planets thought signing defensive pacts with the Finno Mandate would bring extra security. Instead, it simply puts them against the Imperium. They were weak alone, they are weak together, they simply gained an enemy. Not all alliances are strengthening, some are simply too weak to exist. The Ikarzuri are becoming a footnote in history. There's unrest among the slaves, but the Ikarzurians only consist of 1/7 of the planet's population. The Ikarzuri been overtaken on their very home world. The remaining population has been dispersed across the Imperium as slaves. This is the way of the vanquished. Now the Imperium sees its next target. The Stellar Compact is becoming harmonious. We've silenced warlike dissidents as a pre-FTL civilization. Now we've done so among the stars. Our marines have made their way into the underground civilization's royal palace. We found the king dead, still sitting on their throne. The collapse has been thorough. The artifacts of this civilization will be as trophies on Andigonj museums, and the riches will boost our coffers. There is also some backfilling of less advanced technology.
Complete.
Jazilan planets know how to take a stance against the Imperium. We found the last remaining pocket of survivors of the Anti-Terra Xenos. Even as slaves, they will do more harm than good. The Subterraneans are wiped out by the clone marines. They will not pollute our society. Our defensive armies consist of non-clone individuals. The clones are our offensive troops. There is camaraderie and pride among the clones. It all started on the Oslip campaign. We've made some upgrades to our strikecraft. We will now focus on securing our hulls. There is a lot of technology like plasma throwers and disruptors that others are using. We have other means of breaking shields and hull, but it's important to better understand our enemy's capabilities. Educational campaigns are renewed once more. Farming subsidies are also introduced. They will feed colonized worlds, before local production can be kickstarted. A rogue scientist defies procedure and sets course for the automated dreadnought. He defies orders to turn back and jumps into the system. Probes are launched. The dreadnought doesn't see a threat for the time being. The dreadnought seems to be unreadable.
Construction complete.
The science ship goes for scanning the system. It finds one of the few still habitable planets in our space. The idea is to find a haven to settle, sneaking past the dreadnought defenses. The planet is lush and worthwhile for colonization. The rest of the system has to be charted to open the route.
We have mastered a new technology.
Our current engines are too slow for the job. The dreadnought sniffs up the situation. It moves in to engage the science ship. The rogue scientist prepares an emergency jump. The engines are sufficiently powerful to gain some distance. The ship is just fast enough to escape. The unsanctioned expedition gives us some useful information. It is possible to survey the system bit by bit, leading to colonization effort. A Xeno warship would simply blockade the planet and rain fire on it. With no plan to regenerate active, it would succumb. The Dreadnought's behavior is more erratic, and the colonization effort could succeed. Thankfully, we are not as desperate as to try. The goal is still to snuff it out by storm. We've been keeping a close eye on the Cybrex ring world. The Xebi have found it themselves and have fortified the system. This is worrisome, to say the least. The Xebi are fanatic materialistics. They are too curious for their own good and will, given time, try to activate the ancient structure. This is of grave strategic concern. It's unclear how the ring functions, or even what it does. Meanwhile, Drill Profen are repeating the strategy set by the last war. With the Multics split in two and the middle bit fortified, they can choose which side to occupy. These wars have lasted for as long as everybody remembers, but each time the Profen Foundation has gained some marginal ground.
We have mastered a new technology.
Research begins on vitality boosters. Transcendent learning and educational focus have made our leaders valuable. It makes sense to protect the investment.
Xenomongrels have declared war on each other.
The Gurite declare war on the Finno Mandate. Jazivlin will stand with them, but the Imperium is also involved. It's perhaps the strongest coalition ever formed in the galaxy, against one of the weakest ones. The peace has lasted 7 years. We had easily foreseen this end. This is why they are weak and we are strong. Jazivlin are hard-pressed to help the choke point of Tua. The Finno Mandate will largely have to fend for themselves. The rogue scientist is back, exhilarated by his previous expedition. Punishing him would have been an unpopular move, and he has grown bolder ever since. He set course to the enigmatic fortress next. We have glorified the explorers. We are responsible for this bravado culture among them. Unlike the Dreadnought, the fortress has an outlay of defenses, making it difficult to evade. Slergach pushes his luck far. This will become a tale of caution.
Xenomongrels have declared war on each other.
The Xebi are joined by Maidak in their second preventative war. the Surgog are right to favor Xenos, but by trying to eliminate the threat, they have invited the enemy in. Our and Sigmok's experience show that our path is the right one. Only through isolation we can shield ourselves. They are used as magnets to propel projectiles, giving us a kinetic weapon damage boost. It makes our autocannons very effective. We've done a great job promoting unity on our colonies. There's a great sense of kinship and the population sees itself as Andigonj first. Droll Profen gained another minor victory against the Multics in this war. 10 years later, they will no doubt repeat it again. Most scholars agree to be one giant evangelizing effort. But the Multics are of course fanatical in their beliefs. One war finishes and another one brews in the making. The Govmida have become weary of the Foundation's expansion. They also realize the Foundation's wars are taking a toll on its military. With the threat on the flank, the Divine Foundation will become more wary of attacking Multics. If the drives are finished, extra mobility is always beneficial. Ship capacitors are being developed to allow more flexibility in ship design.
We have mastered a new technology.
Gib is finally ready to begin the arduous process of battleship development. These ships carry immense firepower into battle. Their main guns can pierce any hull, no matter the size, even that of a dreadnought. That idea will have to be reviewed as first battleships enter our fleets. Both the Tebron Mandate and the Circle Decimator seem to have bled a lot throughout the wars. Migration treaties are becoming a bad omen at this point. An abandoned trader habitat is found and dismantled for minerals. Tachyons is not something we'll generally pursue, but improved naval doctrine is invaluable. It will be pursued by our military theoretician. Cirroc Decimators have been pushed back hard by League of Mydak and Tebron Mandate in their respective sectors. The Tebron goal is to connect their strategic resources system. The Sigmok pulled back ships to defend their core worlds. All three nations have attacked them at once more. To their credit, the trio have done well to contain them. Meanwhile, the Josivlin are holding at their choke point. There's been slight progress from Imperium there.
Incoming transmission.
The Finnu are holding out against the Gurites as well. They've only lost some northern territories. Keeping up with this war machine is pushing them to the brink. It seems our resources have garnered some interest. The Decimators still have some strength left in them for the last battle. The Xabiers sign a non-aggression pact with the Gurites. This may cause a falling out with League of Mydak. It wouldn't be the first ally of convenience for Mydak. The Tebron have become their enemy. It is time to open the gateways. Slerhus believes what he learned from the wormhole technology he can apply here. It's a more controlled wormhole in essence. Sirgog are pushed back to their last stand. Their enemies can achieve complete victory here. It's up to them if they are willing to risk the casualties. League of Mydak has gained enemies as of late and may want to savor their strength. Still, they may be forced to push back if they don't want to leave Tebron the spoils. But Tegenun, the capital world, has fallen. Those who fanatically hate the Xenos are now forced to live under their rule. League of Mydak fleet is bombing indiscriminately. Vazgog has no planetary shield technology, it's unique to us. They have no forts either. All this time they have relied purely on their fleets. Being born warlike, they've never accepted they could lose. They aren't taken slaves, the Mydak do not do that, but they would rather perish than face this indignity any longer. The worst is that we will carry on living.